Hello and welcome back to the MCYT Metazine. I'm Rez, and with me today we've got Woosh, who did a piece on Parkour Civilization and a passive protagonist. To start us off, how did you decide what topic you wanted to analyze for this zine?
I decided I was going to write this essay, way before the metazine was even a thing. Before any sort of mod applications were out or the interest check was done. I knew I wanted to write this essay since October. Mid-October, early November, when Parkciv was first initially blowing up. Because I watched it when everyone else was watching it and everybody was like, you need to watch this, it's so cool. And I'm a literature major in college, which means I can never be normal about themes and things in media. So when I watched Parkciv for the first time, I instantly became abnormal about it. Where I was like, wow, there's some interesting themes here. There are some interesting themes and a world I can think critically about. Obviously, from that point to the final form of the essay that will be in the zine, the main thesis of that essay went through changes and morphs and feedback and all that jazz, but a centerpiece of the essay has always been the dystopia aspect of Parkciv, especially in Parkciv 1.
What would you most like for people to take away from your piece?
I think the thing people should take away from my essay is to change how they view endings. Not in a constantly be critical about it, but not think of it as a solid, this is done, goodbye. Because, yeah, the good guy wins, but that doesn't mean time stops. What does that mean for the after? There's going to be an after in this world, and we're not going to see that after, but choices were made to affect that after. There's always implications for things that are really, really interesting to explore. At least for me, it's sort of really, really cool to think about those afters because it's like, wow, these things meant something and these things had weight. So think about the ending and think about what that could mean is my takeaway. Start digging deeper into endings so they're not just surface level.
What are you proudest of in this piece?
There are a lot of moments that I think are really cool when writing an essay, but this one, it's the introduction. I know it's basic and it's boring or whatever, but it's the introduction. Because I think, honestly, it's really clear and concise, and it does a lot for setting up the argument and giving the tone I want readers to fall back on. When you get into the nitty-gritty and the language I'm using, it does get a little more professional. You can go back to that introduction and be like, oh, no, we're chilling, we're hanging out, we're having fun. So it's a very good jumping off point, and I think a good introduction makes for a very, very good rest of an essay.
Is there anything else from this piece you'll be taking with you into the future?
Definitely. The definitely is, I'm taking the whole process of writing it for me in the future. Because this was my first dive into what could be counted as cinema studies or media studies, wherein instead of writing about a book, I was writing about a digital medium. It's a different method of approach, basically. It's communicating with a different medium. And I want to do that in the future. I do have a whole thesis level paper in the back of my head about Minecraft. I used this essay as a jumping off point for that exploration into a different kind of writing. Yeah, there's definitely shit I'm going to take from this.
Is there anything else you'd like to point out from the creative process? Are there any details you want to share?
This essay was like my white whale. A lot of things become my white whale when I'm I want to do this thing, and I put it off because of whatever reason, I do school, or I have another project that takes over or whatever. Nothing before this has been more of a white whale. Because as the metazine was happening, I was still in college, writing essays for a program that is notoriously difficult. So, on top of already doing academic work in school and being overwhelmed by that stuff, I added more academic work on top of it, outside of school, that was meant to be fun. And it was fun, but it haunted me. I was tired. And another fun thing is that I used Milanote to plan out how I wanted to, source evidence and put all my evidence in one place. And there was a whole subboard in my Milanote, in this little category of the Milanote board, called Unhinged Ramblings with Friends. Pages and pages of screenshots of just me talking to friends nonsense about this goddamn series. I just sound insane. Another fun thing is I rewatched Parkciv 1 and 2 4 separate times. And I'm pretty sure I dreamed about this series. It got to a point where I dreamed about it. So yeah, this haunted me. I'm so glad I got to kill that white whale.
Your essay is a fantastic read.
Thank you.
I found myself reassessing how I look at Parkour Civilization. For example, you point out that the audience is often to acknowledge the themes of the series even though the protagonist does not. Do you think that a more active protagonist would have affected the message people took from the series?
I'm unsure, but I want to say yes, because I believe that Park Civ would be a very different story if Evbo was an active protag, with themes closer to like how to fully dismantle a system, but also at the same time that story doesn't exist. That story doesn't exist, and like a more active protagonist doesn't exist, so we don't know what that active protagonist would do. We don't know why Evbo, the creator, made the decisions he did. In a way, I want to say yes, but I also want to say no.
Your conclusion explains that the ending of Parkour Civilization is, contrary to popular opinion, a bad ending. That is to say, not that it fails to do justice to the series and its world, but in that it is not a happy ending in which everything is neatly resolved. Do you think there was a way to effectively reorganize Parkour Civilization the place while keeping its core of parkour?
Yes and no. Like, when I was first watching Park Civ, my idealist ending is that Evbo changes everything about Park Civ, the place, right? Including the parkour. It brings it back to that normal Minecraft world that exists, so that everyone has an equal playing field. But honestly, like, what he did between seasons 1 and 2 of Park Civ is a good start. Like, it's honestly a good start towards a better future. And unfortunately, gets really bogged down by the fact of, the whole my mentor committed genocide and as God I will not be undoing that action. He doesn't know he can expand it as far as he does, and I think I bring that up in my essay. But, like, the real issue with Park Civ is not actually the parkour. It's the fact that there are layers to the parkour that allow for easy oppression of the lower class. The fact that there are layers. The fact that there is a physical difference in where people are and how those places run. And all that to say, yes, but also no.
Then that's all I've got for you. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for letting me do this.
You can check out Woosh's piece and all the other pieces in the MCYT Metazine when it releases. See you then.